This assignment is designed to expose students to scholarly research using the JSTOR database. We have 4 articles. You need access to JSTOR to locate the articles. We have the author name as well as the name of the article. And there are going to be 4 students working in a group. Once the articles are completed, we will go one at a time, giving about 3 to 4 minutes. And each student's mini presentation to the group should focus on these points: the author's main point, evidence used to support the author's claims, 2 points in the readings connected to class, and you want to keep track of any terms that are used for this particular course. When we're done, the group is going to work to complete this grid sheet and respond to a series of tasks. First article for this section is going to be Africa Empires of the Past. Each group is going to complete this sheet, and each box is going to be used to complete a task. So on each slide you might see a group task, and on that particular slide you will use one of these boxes to complete that particular task, which will be a series of questions. Task 1, what makes an empire? Here we see the main point of this particular reading, and we're focusing on empires of the past. We see some of the African empires mentioned here. And keep in mind, we're looking at, for this article, a European explanation of what makes an empire. We're going to move on to the next article. Here we see the main point. Role of Egypt and the myth of Egypt as an African empire. That is the answer to that particular issue, which is pretty much the main point of the article. This section right here is the thesis. Now we're going to look at whatever the task is. You're going to translate the red section and then focus on why the green section here matters. Why does the Egyptian dilemma matter in this course? We have looked at the argument of the dark continent several times, so we're kind of coming back to that particular point here. Now we're transitioning to the next article, which is the origin of African kingdoms. The main point or thesis is located right here, and the evidence used, various examples of African conquest. Task, does Africa's development depend on European conquest? And you want to focus on this section here. Using that same article, the task is now, why do the actions of these kingdoms matter? And here we see some of those kingdoms. This section is talking about the conquest theory and arguing that this is not sufficient, misleading as a hypothesis for the study of the events of African history. We're moving on to the next article, the main point. African empires did have judicial and central authority as institutions. The evidence used is right here. Will the job description of king count as central authority? Keep in mind, central authority is one of the criteria according to European understanding of empire historically, and they're trying to figure out whether or not the king counts as central authority. Next task, what other aspects of African society and kingdoms does the author mention? I want to focus on these areas. Notice here how they're referencing a judicial system, military, and that's it. The last task is going to be to complete this JSTOR form, which will have all of the articles used for questions.